I'll start by just doing the regular old sell. This is Gary's Guitar Talk. We just talk about guitars, amps, pedals, anything to do with guitars. We have this week a special guest, John Ayer. Ayer or Ayer?
Ayer.
You say Ayer?
Ayer.
Ayer. Yeah, like Ayer. Yeah.
Air guitar.
Which
That's
is why you
another
could
story.
call it, air guitar. Yeah.
You've played one all your life. Now you can own one.
All right, and so and he's here to talk, but so mostly because he's a guitar maker of electric guitars, Screamer, custom guitars, right here in New Hampshire. So we wanted to just talk about all sorts of things about that. But as usual, any questions we'll do. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. And so yeah, this is me explaining to you as well. People ask questions in the live chat. Yep. We can answer those. They add things to things we say. They tell us we're right or wrong, and we have fun. So it's a big quiz.
Excellent.
So
shall we?
Yes. So first, I wanted to start with usually and just also ask the people when they come in and for the live audience to just say hi in the chat so we know they're there, and so we're not so lonely. So we got a bunch of the regulars showing up saying hi.
Excellent.
That's good. It's a slow build,
tonight.
But that's nice if you told some people. Yeah,
posted it up.
The other good thing about that is it's a slow build, and then after the fact, more people watch after the fact than watch during. So it's kind of cool that we just create something that people watch later. So we also appreciate you if you watch later.
Absolutely.
All right, but let's start with your basic biographical information. You are a guitarist, singer?
Yep. 30 years doing the acoustic scene all over New Hampshire and Vermont, all up and down the seacoast.
Kind of probably the first time I saw you was probably playing acoustic and singing with it somewhere.
Yep. Solo acoustic and then multiple bands and duos. Yeah.
And then parallel to that, you do kind of architectural woodworking, cabinet making stuff?
Okay. Custom woodworking.
So these two worlds going to collide.
Absolutely.
And then you got the bug to make guitars, right?
Yeah, a friend of mine.
Did you start like modifying guitars? And you
that was a long time ago. Okay. Actually, one of the first guitars I got was right here. Well, it wasn't Gary's back then, but the GW when it was across the street.
The warehouse. Yeah.
And they actually built me he did. And they built me a kit guitar with I think it was a Kramer neck with a Mighty Mite body, and I wanted a Floyd and a locking nut. So,
the guy who might have done that used to work at the guitar warehouse. He comes to visit the chat. Mike Endicott. Do you remember Mike?
I think it was Mike actually.
Yeah. So,
Mike
so he might come. He
thanks, Mike.
Mike and Gary were the guys who were there the most, and Rod was the owner. And it started as the musicians warehouse, and they changed it to guitar warehouse, I guess. Yeah. Anyways,
it was cool and it was fun.
I want to get Rod on here to tell his stories of the old days as well. That'd be pretty cool. But
I'm sure he has a plethora of information.
We have him, and about the industry and about playing.
Absolutely,
both sides of that thing too.
Get him to bring in slide guitar.
Yeah.
Do it up.
So some more Rodrigo and Michael and William and JJ UK. We got people all over the world. Some in the UK. We got Australians come to visit.
Awesome.
Custom guitars. This is John. This is his thing.
Yeah, I haven't sold anything out of the country yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
So let's just kind of timeline this. So you start just like playing with guitars, modding them a little bit, changing up pickups, that kind
Eddie
of stuff.
came.
Eddie
everybody wanted to mod. Everybody wanted to change pickups. Everybody wanted to
get that little innovation that would
just
make,
a little bit.
Help
over the whole blend thing. I think even today I try to take a little bit where you're taking the Gibson and the Fender, or just building what you want.
Like a hybrid kind of thing, or the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Speaking of it, the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And then of course, he being a guitar innovator, later became a marketing thing where he made guitars and amps and with his stamp on them, and that still exists today.
I know, cool. And I try to steal as much from everybody that I can.
Yeah, Jonathan Kittery, faraway Kittery, just checked in. Is anyone doing building classes? That's a very good question. This guy, that was
right here. Build your own guitar workshop,
and you do these on the weekends, right?
Or nights,
or nights.
Yeah, so 24/7,
whatever your off hours are. And you go into your shop and they work. So this is when I took guitar classes. Also, great thing to know there's someone in the room who, if you screwed this up, could help you.
could help you recover.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Yeah. So it just kind of gives you the license to be able to do it. So you take people in, you give them some basic instructions.
Yep.
Say like,
along
here
with some
and,
safety equipment, obviously.
Yeah. Right.
Start the earplugs and the safety glasses and
so,
the apron. But we usually start off because I like to build right beside them.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I hand somebody a blank and they draw their lines on it.
Oh,
and we walk up to the bandsaw and walk through the whole process.
Yeah, and so it usually takes how many hours for that to get through?
It really depends on the build because every one I've done so far has been different.
True.
If I was doing just a tele body class, it could be a day.
Yeah, because you could just like, here's a tele body and this and now
and we're gonna because it's not it's a bolt on neck. It's most of it's top load. And, that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But when you want somebody that wants a chambered guitar and the top glued on and there's a lot of router work. And the last student that I had when he first came in was like, I've never even touched a screwdriver, so be patient with me.
Oh yeah, right.
But he wanted to do every step, and he did a great job. And he ended up with this baritone jazz master with a barnboard top and the funkiest little F hole. He mimicked a like a 50s radio. He sent me a picture of a little radio, and we graph papered it out and put it on the guitar. It came out swell. I mean, he did everything. He made the neck. That was a full build.
So if people contact you, you have a website?
Yep. Screamer Custom Guitars.
Yeah, so if you're out there wondering about that, that's what you can do.
Instagram. I usually try to post 2 or 3 times a week.
And someone actually in the room asked, did Gary retire from the live show? No, Gary hasn't retired. He's just taking a week off. He has some family visiting soon too, so there'll be like some. Gary and I did this together for a bunch of it, and then he started doing every other week, and I would have a guest, which is
absolutely that's awesome.
Too, yeah. But Gary will be back next week. Don't worry, folks.
Gary's back.
So part of the Gary thing. Someone said it's a little bit like car talk when it's me and Gary because we just.
You guys are here looking at this stuff all day, and I'm sure you both have this much knowledge.
Yeah, well, there's that too. Well, the concept of this was Gary knows so much, but like you have to get him going on a topic to like, and then it goes like, oh yeah, between 54 and 55, they had this tailpiece, but only with this, and then they changed it, the question has to come up in order to like make him remember this thing. So it's almost to become
and history is just the history of guitar building, and it just blows my mind. Especially America kind of invented the electric guitar as we know it.
Between Leo Fender and Les Paul and of course everyone associated with them because they each had had people doing as much work as they were doing. But still, they're the legendary names of the guitar. We invented the electric bass. So that's all around the world now. So this is a very American thing and a very it's a proud tradition thing.
I love it world. Personally. We took in a 62 Chet Atkins guitar.
Oh yeah,
and it was just for cleaning because it was going to be sold, and they didn't want any repairs or anything done to it. But
we just
opening the case and being able to hold it.
And well, here's something.
History is just crazy.
And so you kind of now we live in the age of CNC, and we're used to everything being absolutely perfect. But if you look at an old Gretsch, you're like, oh, this was carved by a guy,
and like any Les Paul, old Les Pauls, there's not a neck that's
the same.
Identical. They're
all. The funny thing,
carved.
So my Les Paul, speaking of Les Pauls, I was just playing it the other night. It has a very 50s neck to it because spam call there. It just has the 50s feel to the neck, but it was made in 1980. But I suspect it was made in Kalamazoo. It was one of the later Kalamazoo, closed down the factory.
Somebody actually put the hands
on
it.
It probably was someone who's been making Les Pauls for all that time, and that he just made them like that. His hand was big or whatever, and he made next to the 50s way. He liked it better or something, and that was just that guitar that I got. So that's kind of cool, that very, individual. I like to say that, guitars, they all come out of the factory to be identical, and from the moment they leave the factory, their story changes as well. So even if even if every Fender or Gibson were meant to be identical, it just changes when it hits the world. And when you pick it up, all of a sudden, if you pick up a guitar and take it home in a week, it's not the same guitar anymore. It like transforms.
Which it should.
Yeah,
You should have that connection with your guitar for sure.
What's your number one guitar? What's the guitar you play?
My Martin is what I usually play after 30 years on the acoustic scene.
Yeah.
But I play whatever I build, and I'm not a collector, so I try to unload them as soon as possible, so there's no connection, even though I love every guitar. But my Gibson Corvus, I still play from 1982.
Yeah,
it still sounds great. It still plays great, and that was a model that they, the custom pickups and the control. Because after they stopped making the Corvus, I think it went into I think they called it the Challenger, which was a Les Paul with a bolt-on neck, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But those same potted, you can't open the pickups up. They're completely encapsulated. And that whole pickguard and everything went right into the Challenger, or whatever they called it.
Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, it still sounds and plays great.
Yeah. Well, that's
they didn't sell a lot of them. But
we didn't talk about this. Well, we talked about this. We talked about the what was the other Modern?
The Modern
from Gibson, the same, which one came through the store not long ago and came and went in a day.
Yep,
we just knew the guy who wanted it, and we just called him up.
Yep,
so we got another one.
That's one body shape I would love to build.
Yeah. That's an interesting.
And right now I have 22 different shapes.
Yeah. So once you make a template, it just goes into the pile of templates you can use
on the wall.
Yeah.
Yep. I got a whole wall of body templates, and got a pretty good collection of different neck templates.
All right. Let's see if any questions from the room here too, because I want to make sure we're not neglecting anyone out there. But no hot questions. So once again, if you're just joining us, this is John from Screamer Custom Guitars. We're talking about making electric guitars, playing acoustic guitars, and anything about guitars, just ask us, and we will
we'll try our
best to answer. And we might as well do the show and tell already.
All right,
let's do that. So you brought not a finished guitar, but you brought some parts that are almost
just came out of the paint booth a few weeks ago. But this is one that I built with my last student because he was doing a chambered drop top, and he wanted the super duper flame neck. I'll let you do that. I don't know what's showing up and what isn't. So yeah, that is a reverse.
The reverse headstock,
Strat super flame bound neck.
There's your logo in case you want.
With some hot dog fret ends, and that is going on this beautiful body.
So what would you call this shape?
It's actually kind of a Bronco-ish. Yeah. But I shortened it and I put an offset on it. So all my patterns, except for the obvious P-base and Les Paul.
So you got to do one.
But a lot of them I try to change just a little bit.
Give it a twist. Yeah.
Yep. Like I did a bunch of junipers, and
so this is chambered.
This is chambered, but it's not hollow.
Yeah.
In certain spots.
Yep. Yeah, right here.
Yeah, it's all routed from underneath.
Yeah, and so the top is.
Yep. Ferrules, rear load. Not sure what I'm going to put in it for pickups or hardware yet, because that's another whole guitar building process.
The pickup making, and some people are
I had a friend of mine that used to do it, but
this is actually COVID, I really like the brownness to this binding. I just want to say that it's
the cream binding.
Tan.
Yeah,
it's not just cream; it's just a really pleasant tan. I don't even know if it's just got colored from.
Well, I try not to get it on there.
Yeah. No,
but I use a lot of dyes, and I've done a few bursts that came out really nice. And that little special
22
heel
frets
too. Yep. Yeah. But the way I curved the heel.
Yeah. So everyone has to have their thing. That's
everybody has to have that thing. So it mimics itself on the body too, so you can get the reach around.
There you go.
But that should be a beauty.
Let's match up there, yeah, and this is very Gibson from the early '80s, right? That's
and my side fret dots too. I didn't realize I was doing
they're little,
every single neck, but just the way they're offset too.
Oh, they're offset to
and
that.
Somebody was like, "Oh, you copied that off that Silvertone." My son has a 12-string Silvertone, and I never noticed that. That's what the fret
Yeah.
Fret markers were. But just about every neck that I've done has that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great look. I like that.
Yep.
So,
and then my student, he built the neck, and it was half on the top and the other half on the bottom.
I guess that's where you're looking for it. If you're, if you're up here, you're gonna know where you are. Then that's a way. That's a clever thing. I kind of like that actually.
You build it. You want it.
Yeah.
You
can build it the way you want
anything
it.
you want.
Well, hopefully, this will be a good little ad for your classes.
It's been fun, and it's really after you take that little piece of wood and turn it into at least a guitar shape, the student or the builder is just it takes on another whole life.
Yeah,
it actually starts to become a guitar. They can hold it and. But to watch somebody start sawing into a guitar and using a chisel to make an arm contour or a belly cut, and
I've seen that.
It's crazy sometimes.
Someone's asking. Someone asked where you're located. Then someone answered in the room. You're in Dover or Somersworth?
I live in Dover. My shop is in Somersworth.
Okay, you're in your shop's in Somersworth now.
Yep.
So
I got a pretty good size shop. Yep, I can definitely accommodate a couple people if I had to.
And you could do, like I said, if someone out there was driving up, it could be a weekend. You work on the weekends?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Work
every day. I'm in my shop every day. Before I go to my day job and after I go to my day job.
And Chris Lammy is out there. He said, did John make that boutique Dano that you had last year? No, that was Peter Meyer who does our acoustic repairs. He made a Dano convertible copy.
Oh,
remember
totally
the convertible?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he saw one, played it, liked it, and thought like, hey, I should make one for myself. And he did. Yeah,
that's
cool.
Awesome.
And he played it for years, but that was then he sold it here. Someone said, nice work. That's good. So let's talk about other aspects of guitar. So do you do guitar repair as well? Or do you just like
I can do repair, yeah.
Well, you can do repair, but do you what do you do?
I like doing repair only because, like I said, the history of the instrument.
Oh yeah, it makes it.
I love that. I took in the 70s Les Paul to do a fret job on it.
Yeah.
After it took me an hour before I could even start doing anything to it after I'm
just looking at
it, playing it.
Yeah, that's true.
It needs a fret job anyway. So.
Yeah, might as well.
Make sure you get every cent.
So let's talk about Gibson frets for a second, because we have that 1970 here on the wall. You probably saw that.
Beauty.
It is now Gibson. Maybe you can help me straighten this out. Their frets are fat and low on all the 70s Les Pauls, right?
And that was the problem.
They came out flat and fat. And I was told that they did the final leveling and then didn't recrown them, or didn't want to put a sharp crown, maybe just took the edge off.
I think maybe originally, because there was a nickname the Fretless Wonder.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah. So low. And that's how they were. They're really flat.
From the factory, right? Yeah. So some people come in with a Les Paul, my frets are worn out. And it's like, no, they're kind of normal. It takes a while to really run through a set of Gibson Les Paul frets, but they're just low.
Yeah, and that surprised me too.
And I once had a customer pay me to level and crown his frets down to to take his frets down and recrown them to the height of his Les Paul. He brought the two. This is the guitar I like. Make this guitar like that. I'm like, yeah, these frets are almost gone. That's why you like them. And so he actually had me like.
Yeah, well, if you like to bend a lot, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't have those little tiny frets in there.
Yeah,
you got to catch on something.
Yeah. Always a good discussion. Okay, well, thank you, Frank. Let's talk about frets for a second. So, especially, let's see what the frets you have in that one are. Those look like what do we have here? Mediums. Yeah.
And the neck
147.
You got it. Yeah. You're good, man.
And these frets that you like? It's a good. It is. I like middle of the road.
It is middle of the road.
Everyone can kind of like.
And unless somebody's going to request a tall fret or whatever, I'm sticking with that. It's what I like. I use a 12 degree on almost all my necks.
Yeah.
12 radius.
We're talking about the radius here.
Yep. And I built the most awesome little machine that carves the back of the necks.
Oh yeah.
It's a little rotary type thing that my sled goes.
Oh, that you can put
my router on.
A router, and you can make it. Go. Yeah. So you do
the neck itself.
So and this is when we talk about handmade guitars as well. even when we're talking about electric guitar, we're talking there was a lot of automation even at the original Fender factory.
Absolutely.
Them
Pin routers. I would love to have a pin router. If you have one, let me know.
Creating their own automation
right.
in order to make the process go faster, but in order to make things more consistent as well. And
it seems that I can make 2 guitar bodies almost as fast as just one, because it's templates, and I have enough templates now where I can actually turn 2 or 3 at a time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely speeds things up if you get it into that process.
Yeah, if you get a way to to get your process moving, and it really doesn't. I even know like some high end violin makers who will use a CNC just to get the just the stuff you got to get.
It's a lot of work though.
It is, just to get in there. That is just with just with hand tools,
right?
And so someone like to put through the CNC and then carve it down, and so everything, the shape is hand carved, but they just use a little assist on the way.
Yeah, I'd have to have a whole cage full of monkeys if I was going to have a CNC machine. Yeah, because I couldn't sit there and I'd be stuck watching it all day. Somebody could hit the button, but then. Have you ever seen one work or anything? Yeah, I have a friend that did some inlay for me, put somebody's name in it, and I was just so blown away by the cutter, but also the piece that goes into it. Yeah, just the way the whole process was mind blowing.
Yeah, it is. It definitely has. What the great thing is, it made cheap guitars better. You were playing on that Teton guitar earlier today, right? You're like, hey, this thing's all right.
It sounds great. Yeah,
and you own a nice Martin.
Yep.
Yeah. So. And that was, thanks to automation, you can make a good Chinese-made $500 guitar with a solid top and bone nut inside, like real quality attributes. It's pretty amazing. But yes, I can also see the other side of it is if I want a handmade guitar, I do want people's hands to make them.
True. And I make everything. I slot the fretboards on my table saw and
you do it.
Make all my blanks. Yeah. This is flat sawn that's been turned on its edge and reversed the grain. And
well, I remember seeing a talk with Robert Godin from Godin Guitars, and he was like, all this handmade stuff, I don't want it. I want a machine that he bought these robots that taught robots how to paint guitars.
I know, and they electrically charge them so that when it's spinning around, the paint just sticks right to it.
Oh yeah.
And there's so many different finishes out now,
so
too.
He bought those from an auction from an auto plant that went out of business. He bought the painting robots that painted cars. And it uses a laser to know exactly how thick the paint is and all that kind of stuff, too. It's crazy.
Well, it's kind of like a Plek machine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which also seems pretty weird to me, too. Yeah,
I know. So, but I just fell in love with the whole process of making the neck and carving the blue. And I think... I'm on guitar full build number 28. Mm-hmm. And the first, I think, 10 had all parts necks.
Yeah.
And they were okay. And I was carving them a little bit, putting a V into them or whatever.
Yeah.
But I got a couple that were just so inconsistent. Different size heels and the wood grain on the headstock was just so bad.
Yeah. That's something interesting because I think this happened with Wormuth. And this happened many years ago. Someone bought a Wormuth neck and wanted Chris Pern, who used to work at our old store. You remember Chris, the luthier there. They asked him to put on.
Worked on my Martin a few times.
Yeah. They asked him to put a neck on, and this Wormuth neck. He went, he put it on, and did adjustments or whatever. He's like, he told him, like, you got to return this. Neck is not good. This is going to be bad in a couple of years. I can already see that. I really had to crank on the truss rod, or you look at this grain or whatever. He kind of, and so he said, you should send this back and get another one. And so they sent it back and sent another one. And he's like, and so this is a guy who's been making guitars since the 60s. And he just has maybe an unrealistic expectation, but quite an expectation of what quality, the materials quality should be.
What are you paying for Wormuth?
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
And so he sent back the second one.
It's a hard selling point for me.
You know what their solution to that was? They told him he couldn't buy necks from them anymore. He was like, we're not selling you any more necks because you complain too much about our necks. But yes, so all parts, especially all parts is Fender licensed,
right?
So could be made in the Mexican Fender factory and just for all parts. It could be the same thing you're getting on your Player Series guitar, and so they can be a good value in that respect. But yeah, there's I've seen good ones, I've seen bad ones.
I've seen a lot of good ones, and some of them even had like some flame in them, and
Yeah.
you know, they were pretty, but you know, I used to get them completely unfinished.
Yeah.
So I had a chance to at least do some filing and shaping and the finishing and making the nut, doing the fretwork, because you can buy a brand new neck, but it's not ready to put on your guitar yet.
It's never. That's the funny thing where people like, you know, like they're like, how much to put a neck on a guitar? Some of them go on, and some of them are gonna re-drill or fill or reshape and all
neck
sorts
pockets,
of,
the fenders.
yeah.
I'm just seeing so much bad stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The route, it's like, who did that?
So what I was going to check back into the room because we haven't gotten some comments in a while. So either you're all very entertained or you're not out there. No, there's some people in the room, I guess. So this is Guitar Talk from Gary's Guitars. This is John from Screamer Custom Guitars. We're talking about making guitars and just aspects that go into the making of guitars. And ask anything you want. It's open season. If you have any questions about guitar making, he also does classes. But if you like just anything, is it good to do this? Is it bad to do that? Just ask us and we'll tell you.
And that's another good thing about the building class. It's hopefully you have a little bit of woodworking experience.
Yeah.
But if you don't, it's not 100% necessary because I'll walk you through every single step.
Well,
anything you're not comfortable with, I don't have a problem doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, here's the thing I'll say about that, because I've seen a lot of what we'll call so the skills. Like I can fix guitars. You should see these. You see that cabinet I built? That thing's ridiculously terrible, right? I can't build large scale things. I can fret a guitar, no problem. But I mean, I built that, but it's terrible, right? It's not cabinet making. It's so there isn't a direct correlation between woodworking and guitar making. So you came into it having worked with wood previously, which is a big help, but still, it's a whole different.
It really is. Yeah? It's a total learning curve. But a friend of mine asked me. That's how I got started into it. Asked me if I could build bodies for him. He was just started getting into it. Hi, Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph.
52 Customs.
Yeah.
And it took me 5 or 6 before he was like, all right, if you can make them like this, I'll take
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. So that's when you first got into it. Because
you
knew you had a shop. You knew you could do,
well, I had rebuilt his new store.
Oh,
so
right,
I built the sound booths and the cabinets and whatever for him. And he's like, why can't you build guitars? And I was asked that 20 years prior to that.
Too, yeah.
I said the same thing. Yeah, it's too much. I don't think I could do it. Fretwork and crap, But yeah, after making a few bodies, I got a couple of different body shapes going and started selling them online. And
so it is. I didn't want to like rat Ralph out, but Ralph, you make his bodies for his custom made guitar. So Ralph's House of Tone in Dover, New Hampshire. Been there for as long as Gary's has been around, probably for a long time. Early 90s.
Ralph's been at it for a long time.
And but he really found his love in making guitar. I mean, he still has a shop you can go in and buy things, but he really loves making these custom guitars. And
he's got a cool little niche where it's relic and he uses a license plate. And
yeah, he does some. So you can check that out too. And you do kind of like whatever ghost manufacturing. You actually make his bodies, and he buys necks. Right, and then he puts it all together. I think that actually someone told me that his original like Ralph casters were just he would buy Squires and fix them up.
That I don't know.
Someone said that he would just take a Squire and just kind of like.
But at first it was nothing but pine bodies.
Yeah,
not excellent. Check.
Oh yeah, that he wanted. Yeah, right. Yeah, for his complete builds. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and so he's really into the rustic look and the license plates and relicking. And check that out.
Yeah, it does a super job. And I also build for Hinkle Guitars, Bill Hinkle in Nottingham.
Yeah, okay.
He's got some great builds going. I actually have one of his bodies, and I'm painting.
So you do, So do you make bodies for him?
Yep.
And, so to his specs.
Yeah, and the cool thing with Bill is that he'd bring me like 3 or 4 tops and say, "I want this one. You can have the other 3."
Oh, okay, yeah. So
I want this body.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
So that was cool. That was a good way to get in between.
Well, that's
I did the same thing with pickups too, where the guy.
Remind me to get back to you on this. I want to answer some room questions, but also get back on the talking about materials quality.
Yes.
Okay, so
that's a big one right now.
Because I alluded to it a little, but on the all part stuff. But all right, so Michael Kraus is a regular down in Haverhill or Andover. Would you say it's best to start simple before you try some weird ideas?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Make a telly.
A Telecaster. As much as I don't like tellies, I sell. That's my biggest seller.
It's a big seller, but also it's like you're saying,
it's
you
a
can
flat top.
There's no routing to worry about. You can work from the top, put it together. The top is flat.
A simple router can do the whole job.
Yeah,
you don't need any specialty tools.
So
and that's another whole category. Yeah. I think every penny that I've made has been reinvested
into tools,
fret press, and the guitar vise, and paint equipment, and how many files do you need?
How many chisels?
Chisel and files, and
that's true.
Just guitar setup stuff, and
it's a little fun though. You gotta admit, the reason you do it is because it's fun, right?
I love it. Yeah, really.
It's just like you get a new tool and you're like, oh. So I bought the way overpriced Stu Mac. No, great idea. The fret kisser, they call it.
Have one.
It's the fret rocker, but with a diamond thing, so you could actually just use it to previously to spot level fret. There'd be a little guessing. You'd be like, you put the rocker on, you'd be like, okay, you take it, take a couple swipes at it, you put it back on, and think, oh no, here it's.
Well, what I found too is when I first started my necks, I tapped them in.
Yeah.
And then you have to try and level everything. But now that I have a press,
it's a lot easier.
Oh my God. The last few necks, as long as they're perfectly flat, and I don't usually cover the back until after they're fretted. So everything's solid right on on the table. And as long as you're putting the same amount of pressure, it's almost perfectly flat when you're done.
So
that's where that kisser comes in handy.
Exactly. You might have if you don't want to do a complete level in front.
Right.
Yep. And you can find but they're $150. But I bought one because it's fun, and someday it will pay for itself.
I just spent $280 for a router bit.
Oh yeah. So that's a bit of a. There's this guy, and don't go there now, folks, on YouTube. It's a British guy, the bald British guy with a goatee. What's his company called? Crimson Guitar. Crimson Guitar, and he has his tool case in back of him opened up.
Ben from Crimson Guitar.
You can see all of his meticulous, magnificent tools in back of him.
Yeah, I started watching Texas Toast videos.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one.
And Matt and Chris, those guys are totally awesome. They used to build in his garage, I believe, and he'd videotape everything. And after about a year and a half of watching them and building guitars, I sent them a couple T-shirts, and I just happened to be tuning into this station one day, and there they were with my shirts on.
Nice.
And I was like, what?
Here's a question from Chris Lammy. Any builders you really admire? That's a fancy word. I'm friends with Joel Danzig. His stuff is amazing. He was a Hamer founder. Amazing stuff. So, who are the guitar makers that you think like, man, this guy's handmade guitars are better than, apart from yourself, are better than anything that comes out of a Fender factory?
Well, there are a few out there.
Yeah,
there really are, especially the handmade stuff. And a custom guitar is so different from anything you're going to find on the shelf. Yeah. Even if you go to the Fender custom shop, they're going to go into a room that is just full of guitar bodies and necks, and they're just going to pick two. And it's not like if you call me, I'm going to make a blank just for your guitar, and I'm going to make the shape that you want, and it's going to be routed exactly like you want.
Yeah, there's some of that, and I think, getting something that the tool it's a little different than. So sometimes you get a guitar that you love so much, you learn how to hold it. You learn, like you like the sound, so you got to figure out how to make the three. I'm motioning for my 330, which is a little weird at first, but now it fits me like a glove.
Spanish guitar.
Yeah, the electric Spanish, yes, which is ironic because there's the most narrow nut width ever, and they call it a Spanish guitar. Yeah, right. Nothing Spanish about that.
Olé.
But the
so other builders, I know his name is escaping me right now, but the cats over at Lucky Dog Guitars in Tennessee.
Oh yeah,
they specialize in mostly Telecasters, and they get huge money. and they can't keep them on the shelves.
Yeah, there's that.
And,
you get to reach that point where,
but everything's super flame, super flame everything.
Yeah.
And they have their own hardware and pickups. Their knobs I bought, what are they called? Dragon knobs. Yeah. And they're the pointiest little, I thought I was going to cut myself on them the first time I used them, but
it's funny.
Anthony.
That's another shout out. Someone said, what kind of music does he play? I'm guessing they're asking you. What do you play when you play?
When I play out, I try to cover everything because I've been to so many resort type areas. Yeah. I'll go from Dylan and America to Zeppelin and STP.
So mostly in the rock.
Yeah, I'm a rocker.
Obviously, so if the hair didn't tell you.
I know. I hope my mom's not watching.
Well, yeah, she get a haircut. Kid.
That's what she says every time.
You need a haircut. She's been saying that since 1982.
Yep, ever since Kiss Alive 1.
Yeah. My son has me changing his pickups to Alnico. My hearing is so bad. What's the difference? You have pickup preferences?
I really don't. Especially when I build, it's the customers.
Yeah, whatever they want. Yeah,
so I don't really have a.
But so when we talk about Alnico, especially, we're talking about different alloys, different grades of Alnico. I guess what it's mixed. I guess it's an alloy, so different ratios of the alloy or something like that too. But if you're putting Alnico pickups in where ceramic magnet pickups were, you'd definitely see a improvement.
Difference.
But the good news is when you talk about Alnico, but there's actually a guitar over there. I don't know if you saw it there, that made in Japan guitar. They had a bad pickup, so we had to change at least one pickup. We got a set of the cheapest Alnico 5. They're made by the dudes in New Hampshire. They commission them. Stratosphere sells. Hey, Stratosphere. They just have some really cheap but good Chinese-made pickups, and we got a set of their Alnico 5s.
It's really hard to judge any of that. I mean, like this guitar, I haven't started building it only because I want to put some really nice tuners, a really nice bridge, and some super nice pickups in it. So
but then
that's like $800 worth of hardware on top of what I've already got invested into that build.
Let's see here. Any other questions? My son. Okay, so that was the Alnico question. What kind of music to play? Any builders? Okay, so we're caught up with the room. I will say this. So let's go back to the topic of materials quality. Is this something that comes up a lot here when I'm talking with Gary?
It comes up a lot. I've had a couple of phone calls over the last couple of weeks of builders that are around the country, and
what's happening? What's going on?
What is happening? Yeah. Get your kids off that damn video game. Rock and roll needs a future.
Just but getting getting good enough
quality material. I mean, I try to buy. Right now in my shop, I have boards that I bought 2 years ago, and I'm not going to touch them. Still, I'm trying to. I try to purchase my material, let it sit for at least a year, then I'll make my blanks and let them sit for a while. So right now I'm sitting on maybe 6 or 7 blanks for bodies. And
it used to be 6. Also, but here's the thing: like in the time of when we were talking with Chris Pern, guitar makers. If you were a guitar maker, you went over to Gurian's factory and just bought some already, aged, dried, properly dried wood.
I don't know if you can find it.
That doesn't happen anymore.
I don't like to use alder anymore because of that reason.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
it's constantly checking and. I just paid $128, I think, for a body blank and had to send it back.
Yeah.
Just because it was junk.
Yeah.
And I could probably make it myself for half of that, but I still have to go find the wood and let it sit.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
And I use all rough sawn material, 2-inch boards.
Yeah.
So I go through the whole process.
Henry says, "Good evening, guys. Are Fralin pickups good? The Fralin pickups. Have you tried them?
I have not tried them.
So Fralin, I would say yes.
Yes. I've heard a lot of great stuff about them.
All the ones we've come across, usually they're a premium pickup. So essentially, if you got a Gibson, it's got Gibson pickups in it. They're probably okay. But if you wanted 5% more out of that guitar, changing to a premium pickup might be the thing. And Fralon's been doing it forever. He started rewinding and then started building, and now he's now there's a world of pickup builders out there, including in Dover. You got kind of a Dover Somersworth neighbor, Scott Miller from Stonewall Pickups.
Yep.
You know him.
Actually, I'm doing a build right now, and the guitar is going to actually go to Scott, and he's going to build a custom pickup and harness.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm building the guitar, and then the customer's going to bring it to him and put pickups.
He does custom pickup making. He's gotten way into. Gonna have him on this thing too. He's gotten way into alternative designs and like kind of his own designs, and so he has some pickups that look.
I had a friend, Andrew Robinson. Hi, Drew. And I met him. He saw some of my bodies online, and he emailed me, "Can I trade? Do you want to trade some pickups?" And I was like, "What?
Oh, yeah.
New pickups, old pickups? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "I make my own. Tell me what you're looking for." So he came over with a box full of pickups, and he had his own slant humbucker and all this stuff. And we ended up trading pickups for bodies. And he had this awesome overwound telly pickup, white wrap, white bobbin. It was just,
and that's
anybody
part
that's
of
ever touched it just loves it. But that turned into a whole new thing too with that. So I had custom pickups for a while, but he just stopped doing it. Yeah. And
pickups, it's an opinion thing. My thing is, if you don't like the pickups, just get a new guitar. But, sometimes you fall in love with a guitar and you want to swap the pickup. So,
well, I just did a build and he had all Bartolini pickups. Yeah. Which meant, all right, you get to build 3 brand new templates for those pickups.
Oh, right. Yeah, those are weird shape.
But what I was going to say about Drew is he had a slanted humbucker, and he actually had me make routing templates to sell.
To give to.
To give to.
And then also you need a surround, the actual.
The pickup
bezel.
The pick guard template and a body template.
Hi, friends. Do you think the neck through makes any real difference in tone or overall quality? Or is it just marketing? Do you make neck through as well, or do you just?
I have not done a neck through.
Do you do set necks?
I've done some set necks. Yeah. I feel it's a controversy too. The strings coming through the body and the ferrules. Okay, yeah. That's
important.
I think so. Yeah. I think it creates more tone, but if you have a top load, it gives you a little less tension on the strings.
Yeah, that's true too.
Unless you have super duper hearing, which I don't anymore.
What?
There's a lot to that.
Yeah. So think of is it there? There's definitely something to it. The through the body neck, is
any kind of resonance. I think, and like I said earlier about the fender pocket. Yeah. Some of them are just so sloppy, and I know it's because they're made in different areas and somebody's combining parts, but that contact has to be right in order to get the whole thing.
So ideally you want the neck, you want to be able to string up the guitar without the screws in the neck, essentially. You want
not so tight where you can pick it up, because once you have to leave room for finish, obviously.
Oh, okay, yeah, well that
there's a lot to that too, but I try to fit every neck to every body.
Specifically to that body and that neck. That's what you would expect in a custom made. Hi, Mark, an unrelated question, if you don't mind. What's the deal with the Martin and their push-in pins? When did that become a thing and why? Well, that goes way back.
Push-in pins,
the bridge pins?
Yeah.
Did Martin, I guess... So we have a picture of Christian Martin, the first himself right there.
Number one.
So I guess I got to show you this, I guess. Speaking of...
That's a beauty.
So...
But here we are with the laminated neck.
Laminated everything. This thing is... so this is how... So we have 2 Martins. One is $39.99 and one is $3.99. This is... Oh yeah, it truly is $3.99.
$3.99.
So this is the man himself. This is Signature, the old factory. They did this little series. This is one of their composite guitars, and they did this series where they had specialty tops. We had a customer recently with a Felix the Cat one, which apparently is quite collectible. Yeah. So for me, this would not make a good conversion because then he'd be upside down. So I play guitar left-handed. I can do that. So I'll be there. He's talking about the bridge pins and the question. And yes, Martin came up with that, I think, because everything before was tied.
Yep.
And we're talking about 150 years ago. And we also have to remember, okay, so Martin, a lot of the acoustic guitar building today, Martin, invented it.
Right.
And so a lot of things we just take for granted were Martin designs. And everything before Martin was essentially a classical guitar and variations on it. So a tied-on string end with no ball end. And wide necks,
done in nylon.
Ladder braced on the top. He invented the X brace.
Yep.
Scalloped. The scallop bracing. And these pesky little pins. So and that would come to take for granted. But that's the it was one of his designs. One of the reasons he was not allowed in the luthier guild. He had to join the cabinet makers guild. He couldn't do the luthier guild wouldn't have him, or they kicked him out or something because what he was doing was such an abomination.
Is funny.
But anyways, if anyone wants this cool collectible Martin, we got it for $3.99 with a case, with a Martin case. Martin case costs $150.
Chris Martin on
Chris Martin right on it, and it is it's a Martin and it works.
And it has that Martin tone for sure.
It has, well, it's pretty funny. That does sound like a Martin, even though it's made out of composite materials and
the laminated neck. 48 different pieces of wood.
Yeah, it's something that they tried out. So this is one of those laminated necks that they did.
It's probably a lot stronger than a normal piece.
That's what they wanted to figure out. So they do on these guitars. They're actually experimenting for the future, according to Chris Martin. Because to a day that it will be so hard to get wood that we'll have to really use some low grade material, recycled wood.
Which is sad.
Yeah. So this is kind of like in a way, despite the fact that. Picture of Chris Martin the first. It is maybe like a kind of futuristic guitar, having having that laminated neck to add strength, but to
again,
be able to
that's
use a
been done
variety
forever. Laminated 2 or 3 pieces.
Laminates, 2 or 3 on tops, especially. Yeah.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize this. There was a time when plywood was wow. That's a plywood guitar, none of that pesky, because that real wood, it just, but plywood, it adds strength, having the 3 pieces.
I'm working on innovation right now. And
that's what they did on the tops. They switched to plywood.
I was so blown away. The guy's like almost crying. I opened up this guitar.
And it's cracked.
Yeah, it's cracked everywhere.
It's not. Yeah.
But it's a veneer.
Yeah.
Over plywood.
And it is, and they did that because the back is plastic, the top is wood, and they were just having so many cracking problems that they switched to a plywood top to give it stability.
And unless you have a guitar vise, they're impossible to work on.
Oh yeah, because they squirm around. Like
they
crazy,
do squirm.
Ryan said I meant the strap button. So Martin has a weird strap button. I didn't realize that. Maybe they do. Maybe they do now.
One,
look.
I think.
Yeah, it's just one, and let's see what this one looks like. It's just this one has the old style one, the plastic dot.
That's where your jack has to go anyways.
Yeah, that's why he thought that maybe saw one with a jack that was huge, and so like some Martins will have the big jack button, the strap button there too. New Martins have push-in strap buttons, and sometimes they forget to include it. I was wondering if you knew much about that. So, I guess, or that it fell out in the case or whatever. This is tension fit.
Yep.
There it is. And that's how it sits.
Just like a violin tuner.
Yeah. And it stays in there, unless your guitar shrinks too much. And we've seen them fall out.
Yeah. It's that time of the year right now, so check your front ends.
Yeah. Yeah, your fret ends will be as sticking out as they will ever get. So if you're falling down now, then you'll be all right in the time to come. Future. Yeah. But so you can get those because it's tapered. They're pretty generic. So if you're missing yours, then you can just get one, from an online supplier, and it will pretty much do it. Just make sure it's a nice tight fit, because if it's not fitting tightly, then that's a danger of And I've actually, I actually put a little hot glue on them once in a while to make sure they didn't come out, just to fill the space a little. Did Joe King by the Felix the Cat because it's his logo. Yeah, yeah. I guess he stole the Felix the Cat logo. He has that look to that, but no, he didn't. It was a different customer. Joe King from
I
the
don't
Queers. Yeah, the band The Queers are from
Yep.
New Hampshire, and he's the singer for that band and band leader, and he's just their logo has this kind of Felix the Cat looking character in it, and he's a good artist. So he does all the art for his band, and so no, but we did have a Felix the Cat guitar come through, one of these Martins, and they're weird, but I kind of like it. And it really, if you want a guitar that says Martin on it,
something about the neck,
you have to play it. Yeah,
something about the neck. I just love the fact that they actually did recycle something.
Yeah, or just trying alternative materials. We didn't just tune it, and it's in tune because it's not a lot of wood involved here. The fingerboard, ironically, which is something that other people do use composites on, they use the actual. It's a wooden fingerboard.
Is it the Avingall?
I'm not sure. I would get because it's hard. It's been so darkened by. This is where someone played, and then someone's hand oil darkened it on this side, but not that side because they were playing over here mostly. It's up here. It's just here, and then they ran out of space, so they touched.
Yeah, the new manufacturers too. I just took in a new.
This one back
What
up,
was
right?
it? It was
Give me a
a.
second.
It was a Takamine.
Yeah.
And we just barely touched the fret ends, and I couldn't believe the change in the color of the fretboard. Like the finish was just pulling right off of it.
Huh.
Which I don't know if it maybe was maple or something, and they dyed it.
Oh, they do dye lighter colored hardwoods to simulate ebony and rosewood these days.
Which I've done myself.
Yeah, especially ebony. Yeah,
you gotta have black.
If it's got to be black, then you got to dye it. But yeah, so that dye comes off for you. So he said it was a Takamine. Well, Takaminis are their budget, but some people don't. People are like, oh, that Takamine is no good. It's a $400 guitar with a pickup in it. What do you expect? You could play that guitar for the rest of your life, and
there are models that are super. I had a 12-string that I
they had really nice. Yeah, we sold one of their lawsuit era when they had the Martin logo,
which is what Steven Stills played forever.
Oh yeah. So and that was my first 12-string was a Martin was the Takamine lawsuit one. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, Joe, blink twice if it was Wimpy or Beefface. No, not telling any tales. No actual queers bought that guitar. The guy who bought it is just a baby boomer dude who much likes Felix the Cat and loves Martin guitars, and he just he had it shipped to him from France.
Awesome. How's your shipping bill?
Oh, it was him, not us. So
I know it's still.
Yeah, well, for him, yeah. Actually, ironically, it's cheap to ship things here from Europe. It's very expensive to ship them to Europe. DHL has super low prices. I bought something from Tomman. Do you know who Tomman is? Anyone? Tomman is the kind of European guitar center, and they I wanted because I play guitar left-handed. Sometimes it's hard to find guitars, and I had my heart fixed on the Dan Electro 12-string, which I still have, and it's still one of my favorite guitars. And I ended up buying it from Tomman. It was like $20 shipping or something.
Wow!
And it got here in a few days.
I know it's shipping right now. That's why I did 2 or 3 times a month.
You're telling me
I'm not going to wait for my parts anymore.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You got to come here just to buy parts because you can't wait to save up enough to do the shipping or try to get shipping.
And I try to, I mean, that's why I use StuMac a lot too because they have free shipping. It's usually here in 2 days. But everywhere else is 2 weeks. 3 weeks.
And it's gotten people have gotten a little more patient with that.
Some money.
So they make sure you get a higher minimum. There's always something you can get from StuMac, I guess, too, if you have to throw something in to get a minimum or something. I don't know how they are.
No, they'll ship anything every day.
Oh yeah, it must be something newer than that. That means 1/8" jack for those push-in. So if Tomman now has a reverb store with a small U.S. warehouse. So so that's when people talk about Guitar Center and they're like, oh man, Guitar Center, suck the Guitar Center's down the road. I'm like, no, it's great. Because if you're gonna have a competitor, they should be inept.
Absolutely.
And so they're just down the store, and people come here every day going, "Oh my God, I want to buy a guitar from you," just because I couldn't stand it over there.
I had somebody from the Portland store who actually worked there.
Yeah,
and was bringing me stuff to work
on. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
And they got a discount, and they still would bring it to you.
I know. I couldn't believe it.
So I'll say that, and then I also say that if Tommen were to have if Guitar Center were to go out of business, and a company like Tommen, who does a better job at customer service, comes in, that would be more of a danger to me than having Guitar Center around.
Absolutely.
So I say, support your local Guitar Center, because they will keep us in business with their crappy workmanship and no. Well, here's the other thing: there are good people who work at Guitar Center. There are good people who work on the floor, but they just get beaten down by that. It's your turn to price this. The 200 pick packs individually with the price gone. And same thing with there's some people who do great work in some shops, but some shops they got a guy there who screws things up. How do you know which one you get?
That's true.
Because they're in the store, guys. K&K sells their quarter-inch push-in end pen jack. Okay, yeah. You could use an eighth-inch end pen jack. Frank was just mentioning that. So that you can put your jack in without having to widen the pinhole, probably. Yeah. Didn't know that, but that's cool. Yeah, just a little eighth-inch on the end.
And if you're gonna put a pickup in the guitar, Fishman Rare Earth humbucker.
Oh yeah, you like that? We just sold one.
I love it. Yeah. I've had it for years and years, and it's one of the only pickups that will not feedback on stage.
Yeah,
I can hold my, when I'm doing the Hendrix and I need feedback, I gotta go right to the speaker and hold it up. But where every other guitar I've ever played is, you have to have the feedback buster in the hole. Yeah,
or you gotta worry about something. Or that is true. Someone mentioned something about K&K here. K&K sells. Oh yeah, they're the ones that K&K pickups are all right, but people are treating them like they're this. Like if the K&K system, that they were kind of back to doing what Fishman started doing, which was transducers on the top of the guitar, and with no preamp, and that's how they sell them. And the people are like, yeah, but then you got to use a preamp with it, and then they make this little preamp, which is a really good preamp, K&K, because I have one, and so I know that. And I was like, this is a good little guitar preamp, but it's like you gotta have a preamp for your guitar, and the Rare Earth is a great pickup. You got the humbucking one, right? Yeah. And it's magnetic, and so people might think like, "Well, it's magnetic with silicon electric and not acoustic." No, it sounds like an acoustic guitar.
I've had so many great compliments from people that I looked up to.
Yeah, and they go like, "Wow, your guitar sounds great." Yeah, it's like, it's just a Fishman. Yeah, and I think maybe for us living in New England, because they're in Andover, Massachusetts, they're like nearby.
Right.
We know people. We have customers who work there, or whatever. We've known people who work there and stuff. So it's like kind of this commonplace every day. They're the fish market down the road kind of thing. Fish market, or shopping center, or whatever. For us, it's like Fishman, of course. Yeah, we have plenty of Fishmen there. But yeah, it's kind of exceptional stuff. Sometimes also you can be a market leader and then not realize how exceptional you are until competitors come along and you go, oh yeah, that's why I go. Or so, for example, I had the Rare Earth, put it in the sound hole, left it in there, wired it to a jack.
Yep.
And then I took it out of that guitar, and then I tried, then I went under the saddle and a seagull, and that was, sometimes you just got to give credit where the simple thing is the old fashioned
sound hole pickup.
Yeah, sound hole pickup.
I mean, it's wired inside with the jack, but
yeah,
it sounds great.
And then Chris Lammy says, "Great show. Spring training has started, so I'm going to be off unless." So Chris is a regular. I don't know if you know Chris. He was in the I know he's a New Hampshire guy from around here, and he watches us only when baseball season isn't going. But when baseball season is going, he has a good
baseball.
He has a baseball diet. All right, and so someone said, don't forget to hit the like button. And it is the don't forget to hit the like button part of the show. Remember, Screamer Custom Guitars. Look them up.
Come on down and build a guitar.
Do the build a guitar program. Get your guitar built by John or painted by you or something.
Check out the Instagram and Facebook.
You just post lots of pictures of all
try
the
to
latest
post
builds.
daily, whatever I'm working on.
and fun stuff. And thank you for being a guest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was
and
awesome.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week with Gary. Don't forget to check out our other YouTube videos. There's about 150 of them. So
tell your friends.
And, tell all your friends. And stand by for the end. And this is what I say good night, John.
Good night, John.
And we're out.